So when I talked to Alex Bizel, who's the president of Unrivaled, one of the things that stood out to me in the conversation is how much they're going to be focused on player development. Obviously, he said that he doesn't want Unrivaled to be known as a gimmick. And I think so far they've done a good job in that regard. I don't think any of the focus has been on like histrionics or anything like that, other than the free agency talk and speculation, which is natural because you got free agents down there. But he said our background is in player development. And he also mentioned in that conversation I had with him that he used to work for Kobe, and he did used to work for Kobe Bryant. He was a well-known basketball trainer. I think because of the entry into the public sphere via Unrivaled and of course his marriage to Napheesa Collier, that part of it may have been lost in translation. And I think that is one of the benefits Unrivaled can have for players who are there. Doesn't mean they have to be there to get work in, obviously, right? Plenty of players are overseas getting work in. Camila Cardoso has been dominating overseas. Kelsey Mitchell overseas, obviously. Caitlin Clark, we've seen the videos the Fever have put out of her putting the work in. But there is something to be said for the training that can happen at Unrivaled and the peer-to-peer work that can happen at Unrivaled. I talked about Kalia Copper taking Angel under her wing to work on what is the most scrutinized part of Reese's game for good reason. And I think that's a positive. Another thing that was a positive was the video that was released by Unrivaled, specifically focusing on Reese in the lab with Lisa Leslie and Napheesa Collier. So there you have this. I mean, obviously Leslie, a legend of the game. You see Alex there. You see Angel working on the pull-up. You see Napheesa there. And Napheesa, to me, is the most well-rounded big in the league. When you talk about the array of ways she can beat you in space, she can beat you off the dribble, she can beat you off the jump, she can beat you moving without the ball. She doesn't have to have the ball. She can do it with the ball. She's versatile defensively. I think Angel working with Fee is tremendous for a game. And this is one video, right? It doesn't necessarily mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but it's certainly a good sign. It's certainly a good sign. And, Angel has a motor, which is something you can't teach. She referenced it herself last year. She said, I'm a dog, right? That is something you can't teach. Trust me, I coach a lot of kids in basketball. And the most frustrating thing about coaching is when the kids just don't, like, they could be nice kids, but they just don't have that. They're not pursuing the basketball, going after the loose balls, making things happen. Maybe they develop it later in life or whatever. And I'm not, trying to compare these grown women to children. I'm just trying to make an example of the thing that Angel has that is innate and instinctual and is a real basketball gift. Refining around that is the biggest thing. And there are mechanical issues with her release point, things of that nature. But regardless, the best thing possible is to work on it. And we've seen her now working on it with Copper. We've seen her now working on it with Fee and with Lisa Leslie. And if Reese can, I've hammered these points home. That face-up jump shot, one off the dribble move, one back to the basket move, and then, of course, the finishing. All of a sudden, she is a legitimate, candidate for all WNBA teams. We have to see that proof in the pudding eventually, like actually show out on the floor in the production. But it does appear that she's putting in work in the lab down at Unrivaled.